With the launch of Imagine, Meta is officially in the AI image generation game. In what I would consider highly unsurprising news, Meta has made a slew of new announcements about AI features and tools. So first, why do I say it's unsurprising? Well, there's two reasons. One, the chaos and turbulence at OpenAI has provided an opportunity for all of the players who are not OpenAI to try to remind the world that they exist and exist as alternatives. But two, especially in a week where Google has answered that opportunity by announcing their most advanced model ever in Gemini, it stands to reason that Meta would try to get a piece of that narrative action as well. So what did we get? Well, on December 6th, the company announced that they were testing more than 20 new generative AI tools. They write, to close out the year, we're testing more than 20 new ways generative AI can improve your experiences across Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp, spanning search, social discovery, ads, business messaging, and more. Now, right off the bat, we see something that we've been talking about a lot on the show, which is the fact that we are moving to a period where it's not just about advanced capability announcements, but also about integration into the tools that we're already using. Right up front, they say these 20 generative AI tools are going to improve people's experiences on the platforms they're already using, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp. So what are some of these 20 things that they're testing now? Well, one is an update to Meta AI, which is their virtual assistant. They write, we're making it more helpful with more detailed responses on mobile and more accurate summaries of search results. We've even made it so you're more likely to get a helpful response to a wider range of requests. They write that Meta AI is now helping outside of chats as well. Quote, it's doing some of the heavy lifting behind the scenes to make our product experiences on Facebook and Instagram more fun and useful than ever before. The large language model technology behind Meta AI is used to give people in various English language markets options for AI-generated post comment suggestions and community chat topic suggestions in groups, serve search results, and even enhance product copy in shops. Basically what they're saying is that in addition to their assistant chatbot getting better, the same technology, the same LLM that underpins that bot is being used and integrated in effectively everywhere that text lives inside Meta experiences, be it groups or the shopping experience or what have you. Now, part of the upgrade with Meta AI is a new ability to create images inside chats. Specifically, they've added a new remix feature that they're calling Reimagine. They write, here's how it works in group chat. Meta AI generates and shares the initial image you requested, and then your friend can press and hold on the picture to riff on it with a simple text prompt, and Meta AI will generate an entirely new image. Now you can kick images back and forth, having a laugh as you try to one-up each other with increasingly wild ideas. Basically, this is a social extension of an image generation tool. Another new upgrade to the Meta AI assistant is that it can pull in reels, which could be useful for things like planning trips. So you can, for example, see reels of the places that you might want to visit. And they say this is just the first example of how we'll build even deeper integrations across our apps to make Meta AI an even more connected and personal assistant over time. And you'll see at this point already that so many of these things that they're experimenting with are not big news-making changes, but just different workflows, user experience integrations and updates, and basically bringing AI tools effectively everywhere in the Meta suite of apps. Like I said, anywhere that there's language, they're testing recommendations. For example, they talk about how they're helping creators respond to their fans. We want to give creators generative AI tools to help them work more efficiently and connect with more of their community. We're starting to test suggested replies and DMs to help creators engage with their audiences faster and more easily. Now, for those of you who have been experimenting with the character AIs, no relation, of course, to character.ai, that Facebook/Meta announced earlier this year, the big update here is that for a number of them, they've added long-term memory. Basically, they allow you to go away from a conversation and pick it back up right where you left off. Now, of course, requisitely, there also is an update around responsibility and safety. One of the banner announcements is that they're adding a new watermark to any images that are created with Meta AI's tools. They write, while it's imperceptible to the human eye, the invisible watermark can be detected with a corresponding model. It's resilient to common image manipulations like cropping, color change, screenshots, and more. We aim to bring invisible watermarking to many of our products with AI-generated images in the future. Now, more broadly, when it comes to safety, they write, we're continuing to invest in red teaming, which has been a part of our culture for years. As a part of that work, we pressure test our generative AI research and features that use large language models with prompts we expect could generate risky outputs. Recently, we introduced multi-round automatic red teaming, or MART, a framework for improving LLM safety that trains an adversarial and target LLM through automatic iterative adversarial red teaming. We're working on incorporating the MART framework into our AIs to continuously red team and improve safety. So, like I said, big theme here is not crazy banner new. We've got Llama 3 style announcements, as hungry as some people are for that. Instead, it's clearly all about the integration phase of AI and how Meta's existing tools are going to find their way to be actually useful across their family of experiences. That said, To the extent that there was something that captured a lot of people's attention, it's that Meta has pulled its AI image generation out of the places that it lived inside its apps and created a public space for it at imagine.meta.com. So like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or Dall-E-3, this is an image generation model, although this one has been trained on Facebook and Instagram photos. We'll see if that makes a difference in terms of what it's good at in just a moment. As I said, it exists outside of the apps at imagine.meta.com, but it does require a Meta account to sign in with. Results so far are somewhat mixed. VentureBeat writes, VentureBeat's brief, unscientific tests showed that it only sporadically produced realistic human figures and structures. Often our imagery included strange glitches like melted body parts and scenery. They also point out that a lot of the features that we've gotten used to with other tools like Midjourney just don't exist. There's no option to remix from imagine.meta.com, although you can do that in its messenger apps. There's also no way to resize images. And on top of that, of course, there is controversy around how the model was trained. Now, this is built on top of Meta's own AI model that's called Emu, but the issue is, of course, that it was trained on people's Facebook and Instagram images, although excluding things that were shared in private messages. Still, that hasn't stopped some people from saying that this is not how they ever intended for their images to be used, and that this represents a problem. Carla Ortiz writes, outrageous. Meta released a generative AI model trained on 1.1 billion images from Facebook and Instagram. Copyrighted works, our pictures and our loved ones' pictures all used to train this model. Tech companies are claiming ownership of things they do not own. This must stop. That said, a lot of people also think that this is actually probably Facebook trying to avoid copyright violation issues because its terms of service for users who share photos to its site are probably a lot more accommodative of this type of work than just scraping artwork from the public web. Now, it seems to me, and this is the impression that I think a lot of people have, that this initial version of Imagine is really meant to be a competitor to free image generation tools. It's not meant to stand next to Midjourney's paid model or anything like that, and so that may be a useful way of judging it. It's got a super simple user interface, which would suggest for that as well. The couple of tests I did weren't that bad. I did Rugged Santa Cinematic Shot Boca Christmas Tree Farm Misty Background, and got some decent results. Blaine Brown writes, first set of images via Meta's Emu/Imagine generator is impressive. Prompt, a baby snow dragon next to a pine tree in a winter wonderland. Cinematic. You can see, and this is something that people have noted, that it handles detail pretty well. Chase Lean, who often does comparisons between different image generators, did his own test to compare it to Midjourney, Dall-E-3, and Adobe Firefly across 10 image categories. One was a realistic photo, 2 were landscape photos, and by the way, if you're watching this, it is the upper left that is Meta Imagine each time, product photos, text generation, which, spoiler alert, it wasn't really able to do, vector graphics, pixel art, which Meta didn't do at all, interior designs, close-up shots, wildlife photos, and coloring pages for a kid's book. Chase's summary, Meta's AI is good at making realistic photos. This is probably due to their training data. It's a decent free option and slightly better than Dall-E-3 in this regard. Dall-E-3 usually makes more cartoonish pics. However, it is clearly outmatched by Adobe Firefly and Midjourney, though both are paid. Dall-E-3 also beats it at text generation and the ability to follow instructions inside the prompt. So, is Imagine revolutionary? Absolutely not. And in fact, I actually think it points to something different that's happening that is an important trend, which is the commoditization of advanced AI models. This year, things are still happening so fast that there are meaningful differences between how good these various models are. It's not just image generators, but also text generators and LLMs as well. However, at what point do things consolidate around a version that's so good that even if there are advances being made with GPT-5 and GPT-6, the vast majority of the world is using, for example, Dall-E-3/Midjourney 5.2 level quality image generation and GPT-4 level text generation? It feels like that's happening fast, and in that world, competition is going to be much more about exactly what Meta seems to be trying to compete on, which is integration into other apps and experiences. So even if you are not overly impressed with the quality of images just yet, I still think it's worth keeping an eye on what they're doing, given how much access to people's existing behavior they have, and how easily they can bring these tools into those experiences. However, for now, that's going to do it for today's AI Breakdown. I appreciate you listening or watching as always, and until next time, peace